Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Film Talk. My name is Braunlich. Now sit back, grab some snacks, and enjoy the review. Today, we'll take a look at a movie that will unite gaming and racing fans alike, as we introduce to you the video game movie. Or is it a biopic? You know what, we're gonna call it a bio video game pick. Just like my Scream review, I'm trademarking that. We'll take a look at Gran Turismo, the movie. Or Gran Turismo based on a true story. Actually, let's just call it Gran Turismo. Here is my reaction for the trailer.
All right, fasten your seatbelts and let's shift gears and take a look at the trailer for Gran Turismo.
If you miss a line in the game, you reset. You missed it on the track.
Oh geez, that does not look good.
Who do you think the best driver is?
Dale Jr. Oh, you weren't asking me, okay.
All you do is play video games with some crazy dreams of racing cars.
Dad, you're the one that told us to always do something we love.
You know what racing cars cost? Look around. It's not our world, son.
Okay, I already see where this is going. It's like they don't believe him, but he's gonna prove them wrong.
Contest.
Oh hey, Orlando Bloom, haven't seen you in a good bit.
Players in the world get a chance to compete in professional racing.
Dude, this is real.
Yes, it is real.
This is real.
I'm sorry. You really think you're gonna take
Hey Hopper, what are you doing here?
in their bedroom? You're gonna strap them to a 200-mile-an-hour rocket. It'll tear them to pieces.
But it'll be a fun ride.
It's not gonna work.
Ooh, I love the visuals right there.
Elite athletes. Your kids are scrawny little gamer kids.
Oh, that's where you come in.
Come on, let's go.
Up to.
Must be a new experience for you, moving your legs.
Yuck.
You puked on my lawn.
Okay, that was actually pretty good.
When you're in a race, the cockpit is going to be 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
Really?
The G-forces will be twice what an astronaut experiences upon liftoff.
Yeah, I can actually believe that.
Hey, you get extra points for that in the game?
Yes, you do, especially if you get gold coins in Mario Kart.
This whole thing is insane, but out of the couch surfing nerds that you sent me, he is the best one. You made it.
Yes! Welcome to Team This End.
All right.
What's next?
It's Major Leagues. The other drivers are going to hate.
Hello, possibly the generic bully guy.
Whoopsie.
Dude, what is your problem?
Part of the game is called racing.
Yep, pretty much. Oh, that was some nice visuals right there too.
Reset. You miss it on the track.
Whoa.
Die.
I know this track.
Nice little transition there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not fully sold on this movie just yet. I mean, the concept is interesting, but something about it just does not grab me. I don't know if it's because the story itself seems kind of crazy, or I don't know. It just seems a little far-fetched, I'd say, but they do say it's based on an unbelievable true story. I like David Harbour. I'm a big fan of Stranger Things. I think he's great in that, and I like Orlando Bloom too. The guy who plays the main lead, the guy who this movie is based on, I feel like he comes across as a little stubborn, a little bit arrogant, I'd say. So hopefully it's not like that, and that's just something they add in for the trailer. And it looks like they have the generic guy who's just there to be the bully there, the guy, like the main antagonist or villain. Yeah, it looks pretty basic for a biopic, but you know, I've been proven wrong before. So I will go see this movie and I'll give you all my overall thoughts. Gran Turismo is directed by Neil Blomkamp and is based on the unbelievable, inspiring true story of a team of underdogs, a struggling working class gamer, a failed former race car driver, and an idealistic motorsport exec who risk it all to take on the most elite sport in the world. Now, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I was pretty skeptic about it first. One of the reasons it being is, how do you make a movie that's about a guy who plays video games and he ends up driving race cars? But a little over time, I grew a little excited about it, but again, my expectations were still not the highest. I wasn't rushing to go see it. Naturally, I went to go to an early access screening. However, I decided to give this movie the benefit of the doubt, and after seeing this movie, I have to admit, I think it was a pretty good time. The acting from everyone was spectacular. I really enjoyed Archie Madekwe as Jan Martinborough. It seems as though in the trailer that he comes across as a little arrogant, but he really didn't when you watch the movie. His character is actually really relatable. He has big dreams, as do a lot of us in life. And you actually want to cheer him on and make sure he achieves his goals. However, I think the performance that was the best was David Harbour. A lot of his movies weren't very well received. His most well-known movies are Hellboy, Black Widow, and the 2016 Suicide Squad. David Harbour plays the reluctant coach to a T. He doesn't believe just anyone can become a race car driver without all the trials that come with it. I love the dynamic between Harbour and Madekwe's characters. I think their chemistry was done extremely well. I do wish we got more of the relationship between Madekwe's character and his dad, played by Jimin Hunsu. Not that it was bad, but we don't see them on screen together as much as we see Madekwe and Harbour's characters. I also think the audio mixing was really great too. It really felt like we were inserted into the race as we went along with the drivers. From the start of the engine to the cars racing by, it does feel like you're in the actual race, and I have to give the movie a lot of credit for that. On top of that, the racing scenes were well executed too. They were fast, suspenseful, you really weren't sure what was about to happen. There was one scene that I will honestly admit had me on the edge of my seat, made me wonder what's going to occur. The movie is also surprisingly pretty emotional. Going back to the chemistry between Hunsu and Madekwe, I think most of the emotional moments came from them, especially with one in the third act. I even have to admit, I got the feels too when I was watching this, and for a movie that's pretty by the numbers in terms of biopics, then this movie knew it was doing something right. While we're on the subject, let's talk about the story of Gran Turismo. It's basically every underdog story in existence. You have the main character who has big dreams, you have the family who doesn't really support them, you got the coach who refuses to teach the main character but then decides to give them a chance. The list goes on. Oh, and let's not forget the character who's basically there to be a jerk of the movie. Can't leave that trope out. But in all seriousness, I do have to give this movie credit because in terms of sports movies, we really don't get that much when it comes to auto racing. The few I can think of that involve racing cars are Ford v Ferrari, Cars, Talladega Nights, The Love Bug, and Turbo. Sure, that's a decent amount, but we've gotten a lot of movies about football, basketball, baseball, but never really that much about auto racing, especially considering it has a diehard fan base. And going back to this story being a generic underdog story, it's everything we'd expect since we've seen this story before. I think one of my favorite film critics said it best. It doesn't do anything special, but at the same time, it doesn't really need to. Critics aren't really being kind to this movie, but it seems to grow a fan base, and I will admit I probably am one of those fans. In the end, Gran Turismo is a fun and exciting movie with great performances, some great suspense, and characters that come across as really relatable and make us want to root for them to the very end. Overall, I'm glad I saw this movie, and it proved me wrong. I thought this was a very enjoyable film. Will I see it again? I think I might. I do recommend this movie to anyone who may be interested. I do want to put this out there if you're wondering if you need to know about racing in order to fully understand it. My answer would be not really. I think they explain it pretty well on what's going on that you can follow it just fine. It's kind of like when someone asks me if they need to understand professional wrestling to follow Fighting with My Family, which is also a really good movie. Back on track, no pun intended. I had a really good time with this movie. I do think people should see it on the big screen if possible. Maybe if your theater has Dolby Audio or something like that, trust me, you'll enjoy it with that. My grade for Gran Turismo will be a B+. Thank you all for watching this review, I really appreciate it. Until next time, this is Will Braunlich, and I will see you at the movies. Save a seat for me.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.